what are you going to do now that you've bagged that degree? So you've succeeded in getting your certification in your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, and even your doctorate. I salute you, I congratulate you, because you've been able to do what many couldn't. Many started this journey and dropped out, but you finished. Now, what are you going to do? What is your next step? If you are confused like a million or so others who were finished and don't know what to do, stay tuned. I got the right options for you to explore.
You know the way I do it when I drop lyrical. Anytime I spit lyrical, philosophical. All the niggas mimical, but they stand still on taking literal. Punchlines collateral. Maximum damage.
Hello, Chronics. Hello, YouTube. How are you all doing today? Are you having a good weekend? Is your Saturday coming up okay? Or is it just beginning like me? Are you just waking up? Now, like I said in the introduction, so you finished bagging that degree. So you've gotten your master's degree, your bachelor's degree, or even your doctorate degree. Now that's just the first step. The next step is even more important than getting the degree. How are you going to use your degree? To what endeavor are you going to exploit your degree in? Okay? Now, I was going through a lot of other videos by people who have finished their bachelor's degree, their master's degree, and even their doctorate degree, and the same question kept popping up. I'm confused. I don't know what next. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Well, I'm going to tell you what I and some of my friends who were successful even after completing our master's degree did, okay? Maybe that's gonna spark something in you to tell you or to hint you at the next step, what you could do, okay? Are you interested? Okay, now before we get into the 5 things you could do with your degree, I want you to do your guy a favor, okay? I want you to go down there, smash the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so whenever we drop a new video, you get notified, and like the video, okay? Show or tell the YouTube algorithm that what we're doing is very valuable. It was valuable to you, so they'll show it to people like you around the world, okay? Now don't forget, this video is not only for Nigerians. It might be for an Indian man or woman who traveled to Canada for his bachelor's or her bachelor's or master's degree. It could be for the man or woman who traveled from Finland to America to study. It could be people who went to Australia to study, or people who traveled to Germany to study. Okay, it's not only for people who went to England, it's for everybody. Now, let's dive into it. So, 5 things you could do with your degree when you get back to your country, or even planning to stay back in wherever you study. Number 1, you could stay back in the UK. You could stay back in England. You could stay back in the USA, in Canada, in Australia, and work there. Okay? Now, when I finished my master's degree in England, I had a lot of friends telling me to stay back in England to work. Now, the way it worked then, if you are working for a company, or if you were working for a company while studying in the university, your employment is converted from temporary to permanent employment. If you can show proof that you're earning at least £20,000 a year, your company, the CEO of your company could give you a letter that you could take to the Home Office, or give you a letter that you could come back home with and go to the embassy or the High Commission. In Nigeria, England has the High Commission, the British High Commission. You could take this letter to them and they could change your visa status from student visa to work visa. Now, it's very important, you have to take note of this. If you're going to stay back in a country where you did your master's degree, you have to change the status of your visa. It has to be changed from student visa to a work visa. Now, for England is very, very easy, because all you need to do is get that proof that you're earning a lot of money. All the British government wants is money. They don't want anything else from you. They just want money that they can tax. So you need to prove to them that your income is big enough to get taxed, and your company is going to give you a document that you're going to take to the home office, maybe in England. If you have enough time, you can do it from England, but if you waited to the last possible second, then you have to come back home and do it. Don't be afraid. Since you've come back home, it's very easy to get a visa extension, a change in visa status, and go back. It's very easy. Usually they give you 5 years, and in that 5 years, you can always apply for more extensions. In Canada is blessed. I think Canada and America are both blessed because when you finish studying, I think there's 2 to 3.5 years between Canada and America for you to actually work. In that period of time, you could apply to change your visa status. Okay, I have friends who have done this, so I'm not just picking things from the air and telling you guys. I have friends who have done this. I have friends who are still in Canada, in America, and even in England, even as we speak, and it's been over 5 years now that they have been there, so it's possible. Number 2, relocation to a different country to work. Now, this is an option. Now, when I was studying in England for my master's degree, my master's program started in 2011 and ran all the way to 2013. I used to have this classmate, an Indian classmate, who worked for a company that was global. Now, the company I worked for was just only in England, but his company was global. He started working in the Northampton office, and even while we're doing our masters, he was posted out to Holland, Netherlands. Remember in my last video, I told you that I went to England just to work, to gain that work experience. Getting this degree was not high on my priority, it was a bonus. So even when I got the certification, it was just a bonus, it was not the main thing. He was worse than me. He was never in uni, he was never in school. He only came around to do his homework and to take the assessment tests and exams, okay? So what he did was, he was working in Holland, in Netherlands, and when he finished his master's, I think it was literally 2 days after we graduated, he was off to Canada. It was like this. So it means he must have been processing the change of his visa status even earlier than graduation. So as soon as we graduated, I got a call from him telling me, Fuse, it was nice meeting you, but I'm on my way to Canada. The company has posted me out in Canada. I believe that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Don't do things because this is the level I'm operating now. Maybe when I get to the next level, I'll figure it out. Try to think long term. Even before, for those who have not even started their programs yet, or have not even gotten their visa, or are still in the first stage of applying to go study in England, Canada, America, think long term. When you want to get a course to do, think long term. What am I going to do with this? What is it going to do for me? Am I just getting it to get a degree, or am I going to work with this in the labor market? Think long term. So this person was an example of someone who thought long term. So he knew that he didn't want to go back to India. So what he did when he was searching for companies to work for, he found one that was global. And that helped him a lot. It helped him in source of livelihood, income. It helped him in making sure he got a documentation to even move away from the European Union, because he eventually ended up in North America. So you need to take this into serious consideration when you are looking to get a job, or if you do not plan to come back to Nigeria, or to go back to India, or to go back to Bangladesh, or to go back to Afghanistan, whatever country you are from, okay? Number 3. Now, number 3 might sound a little bit frivolous. It might sound a little bit careless. It might sound, maybe to some people, not that important. But I'll tell you a story of a lady who this really helped and who was really obsessed with number 3. Now, number 3 is get married. Now, you could bag this degree, you could get your bachelor's, you could get your master's, you could even get your doctorate degree, and what's next? Get married. You could get married to someone who's already established, who doesn't have need for money, someone who owns a business, who is doing very well. Or you could even get married to someone who is already in England, in Canada, in America, in Australia, in Finland, whether a guy or a girl, whatever. You could get married to someone like this, and your beans is done, your egg is fried, your bread is buttered, okay? Everything is done, everything is okay. Now, if you get married to someone who's already a citizen in England, automatically you get documentation. I have a friend who did this. It wasn't prearranged. I have 2 friends who did this, really. They didn't plan it. They didn't plan it at all. They were in relationships with way before they finished their program. So when they finished their program, there was no longer distractions. There was no need for pressure of school, graduating. They just got married. It was just natural for them to get married. And they got the documentation to keep them back in England. In fact, one of them went to school together, literally like a brother to me. What happened in his case, he needed some documentation to get married to the girl. He needed proof from the Ministry of Interior in Nigeria. He needed some other documents to prove that he was of good standing. He wasn't fraud. He wasn't trying to take advantage of the lady and all this kind of stuff. So I was the one who helped him arrange all these documents in Nigeria. So his visa eventually ran out, so he couldn't meet the deadline. He had to relocate to the girl's country. The girl's from a different country in Eastern Europe, so he had to relocate to the girl's country. When I got the documentation, sent it to him, they did the marriage, and then after a couple of months they reapplied for the visa. They got it. I think he got 10 years visa, and they came back to England. As long as you can get some sort of documentation, proof that you are free to get into one European country, you can get into all of them. Okay, it's just that simple. I also had a friend, actually it was a girlfriend back then when I was doing my master's degree. All she wanted to do was get married. All she wanted to do was get married. She couldn't make 5 sentences without the 5th one being, I have to get married, I have to get married. And this girl hadn't even done her youth service yet. She just bagged her first degree in Nigeria, then traveled to do her master's, but she was obsessed with marriage. Okay, so this is an option. This is an option. If your love has eyes, let me just put it out, then probably you would choose wisely and marry someone who you love and is of benefit to you some way or the other. Okay, my sound cold, might sound a little bit heartless, but it's the honest truth. This is an option. Number 4. Now you could return back to Nigeria to work. Now this is the option that I chose, returning back to Nigeria to work. I know many of you out there, particularly Nigerians, are thinking nothing works in that country. Oh, that country is dead. Oh my God, politicians are corrupt. Oh God, the government is killing its own people. Yes, this is true. I'm not going to sit down here and tell you a lie that this is completely correct. This is true. However, you need to realize that in a country or in a place where things are so bad, like it is in Nigeria, there's more opportunity for you to correct some things that are bad, okay? If you go to a country where things are so good, what change can you make there? You're gonna be just one in a list, in a statistical sheet of people who are just, I don't know, just going along with emotion and all. But where things are really bad, now that's where you can effect some meaningful change. Now, when I came back from England, it was very hard for me. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and tell you it was very easy. I came back, there was a job waiting for me. No, it was very hard. Very difficult for me. Why? Because before I even traveled to England to work, I had a business in the northern part of Nigeria, in Kano, where I had a recreational center that people came to patronize my business every second. I was making money every second. I was leaving by myself. Maybe my girlfriend came to visit, but I was always leaving by myself. I got used to leaving by myself. When I traveled to England for my master's, I was leaving by myself as well. So coming back home to Nigeria, I had to move in with my mom because it wasn't financially feasible for me to use my savings to start to pay rent in any of the locations in the FCT here in Abuja. So I had to move in with my mom, and my mom is a very strong figure. She has a very strong personality. She is one of them boss ladies. So my mom is that kind of person that tells you, you have to do this. What are you doing? Have you applied for a job? You can't be sitting around watching TV. What are you doing? And she always has everything figured out. So she always wants to make sure that you also have everything figured out. And this is also my personality. I like to think ahead. I like to plan long term before I get into anything. I like to always plot my exit strategy before I get into something. So it was more like having two pilots on the same ship. We're always conflicting on every issue. So it wasn't easy. And even when my girlfriend came to visit at the time, it was very hard. You always got to hear things like, oh, you have a girlfriend? She's coming to visit you? You don't have a job? What are you doing? So it made me feel very, very bad. But I had a breakthrough, okay? I had a breakthrough in the most unlikeliest of places. I'm a Catholic, okay? Back then, I was always attending evening masses. So evening mass is what the Pentecostal person calls church service. Pentecostal church might be Christ Embassy, Presbyterian. These are known as Pentecostal. So to them it's church service, to us Catholics is mass. So I was always going for evening masses, okay? And I'm not what you might call a religious person. I'm not that kind of person who has to kneel down all the time to pray. I'm not that kind of person who screams, Jesus, Father, Lord, fire on my enemies, burn them, let them die, die, die. I'm not that kind of Christian, okay? I don't really do that kind of stuff. I'm more like a spiritual Christian. I always try to do good to people around me, even though I don't expect anything back. I could be sitting down here meditating and you wouldn't even know I'm trying to communicate with my maker. I try my best when I think about something that I'm going to do that's going to give me money. I think about it from a holistic perspective. How is this going to be of value to people? How is it going to solve problems? So I have spiritual connection with the things I do. I'm not into let's get this crowd and rile them up. I'm not into that kind of stuff. Okay, so I was in church reading the Bible. I came for mass very early, and I was thinking before the priest starts his rites, the mass begins, maybe let me just read the Bible. So I read this particular verse that was very instructional. It was very instructional. And as soon as I raised my head up, the first person I saw was a foreigner. It was a man that looked like he was from Lebanon. He looked Lebanese, but later I was to find out that he wasn't from there at all. So I monitored him all through the mass. When he went for offering, I was looking out for him. When he went for communion, I was looking out for him. So as soon as the communion rite was over, he was out the door and I was right behind him. I literally confronted this man. I didn't even wait for him. I didn't ask who the man was. I didn't really care. I had this conviction that this man had the solution to my challenge at the time. So I walked up to the man. Good evening, sir. I said, oh, how are you doing? I said, I'm very well. How are you doing? And he said he was very well as well. And I said, I don't know who you are, what you do, but I just finished my master's degree and I'm looking to get a job. And I just feel that you can help me. And the man looked at me. What? Do you know me? Have you ever met me before? I said, no, I haven't. Did someone point me out to you? No, nobody did. Then why do you think I can help you? I don't know, sir. I just believe you can help me. Now, before I continue this story, I need to tell you all something, okay? Now, when I was coming back to Nigeria, I made up my mind that I wasn't going to work for any company that wasn't paying out hard currency. So the company I was going to work for had to either pay me in pounds, had to pay me in euros, or had to pay me in dollars. There was no middle ground. I wasn't ready to shift. I wasn't ready to work for a local company that was going to pay me, even though they were going to pay me 5 million naira. I wasn't interested. It had to be in hard currency. Why? Because I'd worked so long in the UK for companies that paid me in pound sterling. Now, we all know that pound sterling is the highest in fiat currencies around the world. The first is pound sterling, then euros, then dollars, before the rest. So I'd gotten so used to earning money in pounds that I didn't want to earn any other thing. So I made that promise to myself. I wasn't going to work for any company that wasn't ready to pay me in one of the three international currencies. So you need to know what you want. Don't just leave your expectations low. Don't just step back into Nigeria or go out after you finish your program, whether you studied in Canada, Australia, Finland, New Zealand. Have an expectation. Tell yourself, I'm not going to settle for less. So this probably was the reason why when I saw a foreigner, it was very easy for me to approach him and make my demand, because you were going to find out that what I did was to make a demand. So he said, did anybody point me out to you? Did anybody tell you this person works here? I said, nobody did. I've never met you before. Nobody told me anything about you. I just saw you and I had this conviction that you can help me. And he said, what is your name? I told him my name. He said, are you from here? And for some strange reason, I was very arrogant. I was very confident. My confidence was up here, high. So with that level of confidence comes huge arrogance. And I said, why are you asking me these questions? If you can't help me, I understand, no problem. I'm just gonna let you be so you can get back to whatever you were rushing to. And I said, no, take it easy. It's so refreshing, your level of confidence. Now, I want you all to note this, okay? This personality trait, confidence. If you're going to apply for a job when you finish your master's, you need to be confident in yourself, in your ability, okay? Your mom, your dad, your state have paid for your studies, you've bagged a degree, you probably are in the 5% of people who went to a different country to study. Now that has to count for something. You have to be confident. He kept asking me, are you from Nigeria? Are you sure? You sound different. You don't sound Nigerian. You're so confident. Most Nigerians are not confident. I had to tell him right there, that's not true. That is not correct. The Nigerians I know are very, very confident. Maybe you've been unfortunate to meet some people who are not confident, but most Nigerians are confident. So what he did was he gave me his complimentary card. He said, I want you to come to my office and see me so we can have a conversation. As soon as I received the complimentary card, my tone changed. It changed. In my mind, I was like, oh boy, what is this? Jeez! That's what I was saying in my mind, okay? It turns out that he was the ambassador, not the diplomatic attaché. He was the main man. He was an ambassador to the embassy of Argentina in Nigeria. And my tone changed. And I said, good evening, sir. I'm so sorry for the way I sounded. I just started taking back some of the things I was saying because he was in the realm of diplomats. Those who know about diplomacy, in the realm of diplomats, that is, an ambassador is like a minister, okay? Or a governor of international affairs. So I collected his complimentary card. We exchanged further pleasantries, told him bye-bye, I'll see him on Monday, and he left. Now, that was on a Friday. I spent Saturday and Sunday looking for the embassy of Argentina. I went to Maitama, I went to Use too, I went to Otaco, I came back to Use. I was looking for it. Eventually, I didn't find it during the weekend. Monday, I spent 4 hours looking for the embassy of Argentina. I found that it was in Asokoro. I went to Asokoro, found the embassy. Of course, I was dressed for the occasion. I was dressed very formal. You just can't rock t-shirts because maybe you stayed in America for your whole life, or in Canada or New Zealand. You have to dress for the occasion, okay? You dress the way you want to be addressed. So I went to the gate, approached the gate, and as soon as I introduced myself, for some strange reason, I just told them, listen, my name is Fuse, and Fuse is my nickname, okay? Everybody that knows me as Fuse. That's my nickname. It's what my family knows me as. One of the things I do during my recreational periods as a hobby is rap. I like to rap. With business and all that, I like to write poetry and rap songs. So back then when we were performing on stage, my stage name was Fuse. So you can look for my music on Revive Nation, okay? Fuse is there. So no pressure. So I went to the gate and I told the security guard, oh, my name is Fuse. As soon as he heard Fuse, he didn't want to hear anything else. Oh, welcome, sir. So nice to meet you. Come in. Apparently, the ambassador had left word at the gate that I was going to be coming through. So the security guard literally just ushered me in straight to the ambassador's office. The ambassador wanted to offer me tea, and I was like, oh no, I'm fine, sir. Someone looking for something, person when they find something, you go drink tea. So I didn't want to indulge in any refreshments. I just wanted to dive into the matter and just have a conversation with him. So we sat down. Now remember one of my videos, the one about how to work in the UK. I think there's a link to that video up there. I told you that was the first time I had an interview over the phone. Now this is the first time I was having an interview, one with an ambassador, a diplomat, and 2, an interview that lasted for 4 hours. Okay? Now, we talked about everything. It was an interview like one I've never had before. He never asked me, if you've joined this organization, what are you going to do for us? What skill is your strongest strength? All those wacky and tacky things that all these other organizations ask. His was on economic affairs, policies, international policies. So he asked questions like Barack Obama, because I think Barack Obama was the president at the time. So he said Barack Obama gave a press conference the other day, and he talked about the relationship with North Korea. He talked about their fledgling relationship with North Korea. Now, what do you think is going to be the economic implication of this tension between North Korea and America to China? The Russians are supplying the Syrians weapon, and they're trying to take the island of Crimea. Now, what do you think this is going to mean for people like Israel that supply arms to other parts of the world? Now, the World Bank gave $7 billion to Nigeria to foster agriculture. How do you think this could help Nigeria overcome competitions like South Africa? So it was, this person did this with this person. How would this affect this person? It was this. And we talked about the role of the UN. We talked about culture. We talked about music, how the music in Nigeria is going to evolve, how Nollywood is one of the entertainment subsectors that actually give internally generated revenue to the FIRS to help in recurrent expenses in the economy, and how we could lower the inflation or even escalate the inflation. So it was all these economic policies, physical terms, how it's going to affect the world, international trade, and stuff like that. This was all we talked about. I'm very comfortable talking about business. I could talk about business from here till tomorrow. I really love business. Business is one of the things, apart from music, that I'm very passionate about. So it was easy for me to sit down with this man to have this conversation. And before I had this conversation with the ambassador, I think a week before, I was fortunate enough to have sat down with 2 UN envoys, and we talked about culture, we talked about international politics and economics. So it was more like that was my dress rehearsal for this interview. So we finished, and when we finished, the ambassador told me, why do you want to work in the embassy? Why? You could work anywhere in the world. Why do you want to work here? Be honest, guys. Which Nigerian person would want to work in an embassy? That's free travel. That's tourism sorted. In your bucket list, that's tourism sorted, like ticked, 1 box ticked. So why don't, and I'm going to be earning money in dollars. I'm going to be living my dream. What do you mean? So he told me he doesn't want me to work in the embassy. He wants me to work in a bigger position because, according to him, my knowledge base is so deep and so vast, and he doesn't want me to waste away, to rot away in the embassy. So he told me he was going to reach out to an oil company that was domiciled out in Rivers State in Port Harcourt. It was an oil company that had the head office in Brazil, but operating out of Rivers State, Port Harcourt in Nigeria. So he told me to give him 2 weeks. True to his word, when I got home, I got this message, this email from him recounting how he was very impressed with our discussion. He didn't call it an interview. He called it a discussion. He told me, don't call me. My phone calls are monitored. I'm a diplomat. The Home Office monitors my calls just to make sure there's nobody that is a threat to my life or a threat to my position and our representation in Nigeria. So don't call me, okay? I'll call you. So 2 weeks later, he called me and told me that the company, if you want to know the name of the company, hit me down in the comment below. They do their recruitments every 2 weeks. So those of you coming back from the UK or whatever, just hit me up down in the comment section. I respond to all comments, okay? So he called me and told me he had a conversation with the CEO, and that they're done recruiting for that week, and they're going to recruit the next week. So he told me that I should not bother to recruit. He's going to call back. He's going to call the CEO next week and see what's going on. So he called the CEO next week, and it was dragging. Eventually, it took 2 months, and it was dragging on and on and on. So he told me to resume work in the embassy, just like that, guys. Just like that. Now, this is the power of meeting someone in influence. And these people are around you. Don't even tell me, oh my God, we live in satellite town in Lagos. Oh my God, I'm from the poorest part of Bangladesh. Oh my God, I'm from the Bronx in America. Oh my God, I'm from the slumpiest of the slump in Canada. The people who are going to help you after you bag your bachelor's degree, after you bag your master's degree, are around you. All they're waiting for is for you to identify them. Humble yourself. Now, humility is a personality trait, okay? Humility simply means putting yourself down because there's something you don't have and you want to get it from someone that has it. That's what humility is, okay? People that can help you are all around you. You just need to identify them. They're there. They're those people that everybody bows down to. They're the ones that can help you. Engage them in a conversation. Tell them what you are, what you've done, and what you need. And you'll be surprised how quick the doors are going to open. So he told me to resume work in the embassy. I resumed after 2 months. Remember the 2 months had passed after the interview. I resumed work in the embassy. And when I resumed work in the embassy, he told me I was going to be on 3 weeks probation. Eventually, it moved on to 3 months probation. And then they're going to reach out to the Home Office and see how they can make my employment permanent. After 3 months, they did reach out to the Home Office and they did make my employment permanent. Now, in the 3 months I was working there, I was earning very low. The salary was very low and it was in Naira. But I told myself, no problem. There's a potential to earn in dollars in the long term, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to just buy this bullet and eat this humble pie and we'll just keep going. So after 3 months, they made it permanent and they started paying me in dollars. I'm talking about at the end of every month, they call me into the account department and my salary is in an envelope. Dollars, okay? I go to Bureau de Change and I change it with them and I put the rest in my domiciliary account and happy days, okay? Now, if you were back from whatever country that you went to study in and you want to work, but you want to work for a company remotely. You want to work for a company remotely. You don't want to go through the hassle of that 9 to 5. You want your time to be flexible. You're working for a company, but you want flexibility in your schedule. I've made a video on how you can go to study abroad for free. And one of the ways you could do this is what I just said now. You can just click on the link above. I got you guys, okay? I remember I said it in my first video. I'm trying to be as valuable so somebody out there who thinks he can never make it out of whatever situation he might have found himself in is going to watch these videos and literally just move my step-by-step approach and it's going to be sorted, okay? So happy days. Now, that was how I was able to get back to Nigeria, and after all the dramas with my mom and all the situations that I faced, I was able to get my life on track by working in the kind of job that I knew I wanted to work in, okay? Now let's move on. Number 5. I'm going to borrow a bit of number 4. I worked in the Embassy of Argentina. That particular ambassador was done with his mission. He made me promise that I wasn't going to stay in the embassy beyond 2 years, okay? But when he was saying that, I said, what kind of talk is that? This is an embassy, well, what am I going to leave here for? But eventually, I found out what he meant. Now, when someone sees the potential in you, sometimes it's very hard for you to see the potential in yourself. But I found out that I was bigger than that position. And it took me 3 years to find this out. Eventually, I spent 3 years in the embassy. I moved on and I went to work for a bigwig that was working with the NNPC depot in Niger State, Suleja, Niger State. I was his PA. I had the opportunity to practice what I studied in England, Masters in Business Administration, but based on supply chain management and logistics. So what we did was to receive trucks that came from the Kaduna refinery, Warri refinery, Port Harcourt refineries, and private refineries in Lagos like Masters Depot, Tank Farm, Capital Oil, Fort Oil. We received all these trucks in the Suleja depot. We did the haulaging and we dispatched these trucks into Abuja. Now the Suleja depot is not in Abuja, it's in Suleja, and Suleja is in Niger State. The depot is in Suleja. So we received these trucks in Suleja, we did the haulaging, and then we dispatched these trucks to different locations in Abuja, to filling stations, to companies that use diesel, to different locations all around Abuja, and sometimes to other states around Nigeria, maybe up north to Sokoto, to Zamfara, to Yobe, to Gombe, all those places. So they come from the southeast, southwest. We dispatch them, do everything that needs to be done, and then we move them to where they're supposed to be. So I did this for 2 years. So in all, I spent 5 years in the labor market working. Now, when I finished working, I now started my own business. Before I went to the UK, I'd already incorporated a company. So what I did after 5 years of working post studies in UK was to go back to that business and I started working in my own company. Now, this has always been the plan for me. Now, initially, all I wanted to do was bag this degree, come back to Nigeria, and start my business. One of my lecturers in the university, I think he taught us organizational change. He asked me what I was going to do after my master, and I told him I'm going to start my own business. He held my hand. He held my hand. Now, this lecturer was German, okay? He wasn't from England. He held my hand, and he said that I don't want you to do that. I want you to work for a while before you start your own business. So I had that at the back of my mind, and that was what I did eventually. So after working for 5 years, I now started my business. You might want to start your business, but you don't know how to go about it. Let me say this, guys. You don't need money. Money is not the first step to start your business. An idea is the first step to start your business. You need to have an idea. You need to write a business plan, a feasibility study, just summarize on a sheet on how this particular idea can help people. You should be able to help people. Now, if a business can help people, automatically you have customers already, okay? Now, if you do think that you found your idea and you've ran it through everybody and it's a sound idea, and what you're looking for is capital to put your idea in motion, hit me up in the comment section. I'm going to tell you how you can go about raising capital for your business. You don't need to rely on the government. You can hit me up. I'm going to make a separate video on how you can raise capital. It's very easy. It might require some sacrifices here and there, but it's very easy for you to raise capital, startup seed capital for your business, okay? Now, I want to believe these videos are very valuable. In fact, I want to believe this particular video on what you could do post-study in the UK, post-study in Canada, post-study in America and Finland and Australia and whatever country you went to has been very, very valuable. I don't want you to send me any money, okay? And I'm not being boastful or whatever. All I want you to do is go down there, like I said before, and smash the subscribe button. Follow your boy on Instagram, and my Instagram handle is @FuseChronicles. Okay, if you have any question, maybe you might think leaving comments down below is going to be crowded because a lot of people are going to be leaving comments. I might not see your comment. I reply to all comments anyway, but you might think I might not see your comment. Why don't you try getting very close to me? Now, you cannot change anything from afar. You only change things in a relationship, okay? Follow me on Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram with whatever questions you have, and I'm gonna respond like that. Smash the subscribe button down below. Turn on your notification bell so whenever we release these videos, you're in the know. Like this video so you tell the YouTube algorithm that what we're spreading and what we're preparing, what we're making, the videos we release are valuable to someone out there. If you smash the subscribe button, if you turn on your notification bell, if you like the video, what you're gonna do is tell YouTube that you liked it, so they're gonna send it to people like you that need this information, okay? So guys, I'll definitely see you on the next one, okay? Bye bye for now.